Muslim podcast. This is Uzma Joffrey.
And this is Aba Hassan. How's your Ramadan going, my dearest? I feel like I haven't really chatted with you since it started.
It's going, girl. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We recorded last week pre-Ramadan. So far, so good. What are we on day 4 now? Alhamdulillah. So I haven't missed a
I know.
suhoor yet, which is really important.
Good job. And
Yeah.
and then
How
are you
about for
able to go
you?
back to sleep? Because I know you have a hard. Oh, same. But you know me, I don't go back to sleep after sahur, which is why at this point, at
Yeah.
almost 2 in the afternoon, I am starting to lag, as you can see by my sleepy eyes.
Ah.
Like I'm starting to get tired. But what do
Yeah,
you do,
yeah.
right?
Not
We're
just that, we
surviving.
have like a video lag, right? I do take a nap. I believe in the
Yes,
nap.
it seems.
That's really important to me. I take at least one, sometimes two during the day, depending on my energy level. And that's okay because
Good for
I'm
you.
restoring my body. I'm resetting. This is Ramadan. We go back to like the original way that we do things, and that's like restful, mindful. So I'm trying to do that. But tell me how your weekend was because you have that volunteering event that you're doing every Saturday.
This weekend, because of Ramadan, I have to say I had I don't know, but maybe you're a doctor, but every time it's about to rain, I get
Maybe.
massive headaches. Is that normal? I
Yeah,
know, not
people
maybe.
who
You
tend to have
are, but is
migraines,
that a
like,
normal thing?
yeah, weather changes,
Sorry.
any changes in your sleep schedule, your hydration level, like sometimes just travel alone, just changing the environment and time zones can also do it. But certainly some people notice their migraines come on more when the temperature changes. Was it cold or hot there this
So as a
weekend?
result of that, I did not. It was chilly and rainy the entire weekend. So I always
Hmm.
notice when it starts to rain, I get massive headaches. And I'm just like, should I go to a doctor? No, I'll just talk to Dr. Usman Joffrey. So I did not get a chance to go, but I watched from afar and I will be there next weekend, inshallah. But our mosque is doing a food drive every single week. So, and actually doing literally
That's
a drive
awesome.
through where you come through, we put the fresh groceries in your car and go on. It's an
Oh,
amazing thing to be a part of, I have to say. And I'm so thankful for our leadership at the masjid that is doing this every single week. I mean, literally every single week we've been doing it. So I'm really thankful to even just be a small part of this ongoing donation drive, to be honest with you, because right now with the corona, as you know, a lot of people are without jobs or losing their jobs, and definitely the food insecurities are coming to the forefront. So whatever little we can do specifically during the month of Ramadan, I definitely appreciate it. But thanks for asking. What about you? Like anything new on our hot topics for the week that you'd like to tell our listeners about?
Um, well, a couple of things before I get to the soapbox. I have the opposite problem where I live, where it's like getting into the triple digits. So this is going to be really fun. Thank
Oh my
goodness for
God.
coronavirus that I have to be indoors so I don't dehydrate and die outside, which I almost did this weekend. But do you remember a
Oh.
couple of weeks ago when we recorded my kids and they came on, my daughter outed me and was like, you asked her, what is your favorite thing your mom cooks during Ramadan? And she's like, oh yeah, Ami doesn't cook. Yeah. So
And
my
you're like,
son,
yes.
the yes, thank you, honey, for, the darndest things, whatever. So my one of my sons the other day was like, Ummi, it's Ramadan. Are you gonna make your Pakistani ice cream? And I'm like, oh, Gulfi? And he was like, yeah, you make that in
Mm.
Ramadan. And I realized he's right. I make that in Ramadan. I have at least, these past couple of years because it's summer, it's hot, it's kind of a cool and refreshing treat for people to have at the masjid. So that's one thing I take just to kind of share because a lot of people do bring things and I have you know, a little bit amount of modesty and shame at my lack of contribution to the food prep. So I will bring stuff. And Gulfi is one of them, the Pakistani ice cream. So I whipped up like 2 batches of it yesterday, and that's going to be his surprise. And
Ooh.
it was my surprise because I realized that one of my kids noticed something special about Ramadan. And in his mind, that's like a memory, that's like a stamp that's been created that I did
Oh,
by
that is so
accident.
great.
Right? Yeah, so that was just
That
like
is
my
great.
mom
I
win
love
for the
that.
week. Yeah, it gave me all the feels. I loved it.
Yay.
So that's awesome. Apparently, there's Facebook comments coming on, so we can flash them at the bottom of the screen because we are live. In the meantime, I'll move on to our soapbox. I want everybody to know we've been talking about the Penny a Pill USA Celebrate Mercy COVID Coronavirus Emergency Response Fund, which is helping people that are now not working or out of work or not working enough to survive. So that emergency appeal is something that is on our highlights on Instagram. But I also joined for the first year ever Launch Goods Ramadan Challenge campaign, where every day you decide to give $1, $100, whatever you can afford, but you do it every single day for 30 days. It's just click and go. Or what you can do is choose 30 different campaigns and create a give list. So I've already created a give list of charities that I either know, trust, or people who are running them that I know personally. And I'm like, okay, I want to give to that organization. Some of them have already been on our podcast. So, of course, you may recognize some of them. We will probably end up sharing a link for Momming While Muslim for this challenge as well, because we want to get on board and do one good deed every day to support causes. Because, again, remember, we're not going to the masjid. These organizations and these causes and people are not able to come visit us to raise money. So it's our job to go find them this year and say, hey, how can we help? Help the helpers continue their good work. That's my soapbox for today.
I love that. And we'll share the links on all of our social media pages and let us know how else we can help you because this is just such a great opportunity to give during the month of Ramadan specifically. But I'm really excited. A fellow DMVer here. Why we don't know each other. We're in the similar circles, but I just wanted to take a moment to introduce Yasmin El Hadi, a human rights attorney with the U.S. Department of Justice, who is also known on all her social medias as the Yas Guru, for her 20 plus years of doing Muslim matchmaking, which we're not going to talk about today. As much as I'd want to like get into that, what we're going to talk about today is how she is a comedian. I mean, I've been married for 20 years, so it's all good. I'm not interested in the matchmaking quite yet. Maybe my second round, but we're not going to go there. But she's a comedian, a mom extraordinaire, and a lawyer, and she has this amazing time blocking scheduler that I think all of us moms can really benefit from in order to be able to wear all the hats that we're wearing right now. Thank you so much for joining us, Yasmin. I really, really appreciate you being here today.
Oh my God, it's such an
Assalamualaikum,
honor to be here.
welcome.
Walaikum salam. Happy Ramadan, everybody. Yeah,
Happy
Ramadan
Ramadan.
let's
Mubarak.
do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, how's it going for
We
you?
first of all, just for full dis-
Go ahead, Sipa.
No, I was going to say, first of all, I just wanted to share a little bit of the behind the scenes. We couldn't even get on to start the live because we were chit chatting and laughing so hard. And poor Joe was being
Yeah,
over talked and overshadowed by the three crazy women that we are right
three
now.
women.
So I just wanted to say, like, thank you, Joe, for having some patience with us. And Yasmin, I already hear like amazing things about your comedy act. And I'd like to definitely go there, hopefully one day in person, if that ever happens. But do you want to tell us a little bit about your background? What got you into this unique unique point of view as a Muslim
Time boxing.
American that is yeah, the time boxing and why are you interested in doing something like that?
Okay, so I time box because I have to stay sane, and I learned this skill actually as a lawyer, learning in law school how to be able to properly manage my time, to do well enough to be able to get a job later, and also how to study for the bar. So that's actually
Hmm.
a big driver for how I started learning how to do this, and it's been an important skill while mommying for sure, especially mommying while Muslim. A lot of responsibilities to
I
God
love
and
that.
children.
Yes,
That's
yes, and your
exactly
household.
right.
Tell us about your mom's story.
So my mom's story is that I it's got pregnant the first time without knowing that I was going to get pregnant. I don't know if we want to call
That
it
you
an
could?
unplanned mistake. It was not like that. Can't say
No,
those
it's not a
words.
mistake. A happy accident.
I'm not
A happy
trying
accident.
to say that, especially while God is listening. But I did have my son at a very precarious time. I was unemployed and did not know I was pregnant. Yes, that happened. I thought I had the flu. I thought I had allergies.
Was there a
Oh
lot of
But
no.
NyQuil ingested?
no, thank God, because I'm actually not too keen on the over the counter drugs. I don't know. I don't like drugs, man.
Mm.
I don't like anything that like dulls me. I
Say
like
no
to
to
be
drugs,
fully like
everybody.
wired. You know, I
I'm a
want to know
lover of
what's going on
drugs.
at all
Yeah.
times. I'm too much of a control freak to be like, oh, I'll just give it up to the
Ah,
narcotics. Let them to be in the driver's
yeah.
seat. No, no, you're not allowed.
No, no, no.
But anyways, the time boxing is a big part of trying to figure out how to still have a life on on my own and be a mother. And then I had my second son, totally planned, totally awesome, and it has been actually a much better experience for me to be a mom who is willing to enjoy the ride instead of being terrified of the ride.
Hmm.
So I was really scared
Yes.
Yeah.
with my first son. I didn't know what to do. And so like now with my second son, I feel like now I know everything to look out for, and I'm not so on edge because you can tell I'm kind of already on edge. But I'm not like so petrified. So like it's just been awesome to enjoy him. So my mom's story is
Yeah.
is such that I didn't realize I was gonna have two boys. That's kind of cool. Hashtag boy mom for life. And I really secretly want to have a third baby. I don't know if I will, but it's been a kind of a cool experience to implement the skills that I learned studying for the bar and getting myself ready to have a professional career where I was had a lot of demands, and to transfer that to my everyday life with having children.
Awesome. Well, I think the key question right now
So
is
I
what
know,
the heck is time boxing? Because until you go ahead, Zeba.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and how is it different than block scheduling? Because that is what I was like, I kind of do a block scheduling, but then I'm like, is block scheduling the same as time boxing? And trying to understand the difference between the two.
Yeah, so and we might be doing the same thing. We're just calling it different things. I learned it as time boxing, and I also my therapist was really cool about kind of helping me understand low frequency and high frequency activity, so that I understood how to
Mhm.
organize my time for the times that I felt the most productive, and also the times that I felt like kind of a slump where I was having difficulty focusing. So basically, time boxing in essence is giving yourself a certain amount of time to do something and then sticking to that. And then having consequences to not sticking to that, and having rewards to sticking to that. And then basically organizing your day into high frequency and low frequency activity. And I can explain that a little bit more. But I know there's a lag, so I want to like give some time for your feedback. So I'll stay quiet now.
Zeba, does that sound like what block scheduling is?
Not in the same, yeah, similar time, like the high frequency and the low frequency. Like for me specifically, as everybody knows at this point, like I wake up at the crack of dawn. So like my highest frequency time for me to get everything done is from like 5 a.m. to 3. And then I start, you know, going down to the other side. So I do try to schedule my time during that point so I can be the most productive. Though when I started researching time boxing, when I heard about this, I love all the color coded, like I don't do that. Like, so I don't color code depending on what type of activity. And then apparently you're
Yeah.
supposed to audit or have a time audit repeatedly to
Mm-hmm.
kind of reassess what you're doing. So that is something I'm not
Yes.
doing, and that's not what block scheduling is. So like, can you explain that, like a
Yeah.
time audit, and why that's very
Mm-hmm.
important?
So that's the part about the accountability that I was talking about. So, there are rewards and then there are consequences to not sticking to schedule. And the color coding is really good because it helps you kind of, when you're looking at your day, when you're looking at your week, and when you're looking at your month, you're able to see what kind of activities did I actually get done during that time. And does it make sense to do that during that time? Can I change the times that I've expected myself, for example, to do cleaning, or to go read the book that I wanted to read, or to complete the work obligation that I needed to work? Did that make sense? Do I need to shift the time? And so that's why the color coding is important. And I was going to say that the audits are so that you can continuously have check-ins, just like a project manager. And you can use, if you're a PMP, if you're a project manager professional, you know a little bit about time boxing because they use that to track people's activities. And I have a master's in public policy from Princeton University, and we learned a lot of the same techniques there to track program evaluation. So in understanding how you set public policy, or how you approach a program, you have to audit by checking to see, did I actually stick to that? There were, yes, maybe I was punished in some way for not sticking to that. And what does that mean so that moving forward I can get better? And I can talk to you a little bit about the kind of rewards and punishments that I give myself. Well, I don't want to call them punishments, but they
Yes.
are. They're called consequences.
They are. Okay. So
Yeah.
tell us what the process looks
they're
like for time boxing.
So basically, okay, so for example, for my day, if I'm looking at my morning, I do not wake up at the crack of dawn, but, well, that's not true. I do wake up at the crack of
Now
dawn
you do.
on my regular days. Yeah, but no, but I kind of do. I just realized I actually do because of my work schedule. But I was just thinking, like, on the weekends, I definitely don't. But you know what I mean? But anyways, my day starts usually between 5 and 5:30. And much like Zeba, and much like a lot of highly successful people, the most advantageous time for our like high frequency activity that requires a lot of thought. So high frequency means that you actually have to be fully engaged in the activity, that you can do a lot. You can sort of like knock out a lot. It's heavy lifting mentally. So it's like you got to think about it. You got to work it out. I look at my time between 6:30 and 8:30 as that time, and I have to carve out personal time there too, like 30 minutes for meditation. And the color that I use for meditation is green. And in that meditation is also like specifically the adhkar that I do, adhkar al-sabah and adhkar al-masa. And I don't feel like my day is started off right sort of without doing that. And then I have, for example, a lot of work obligations in the morning. So I take that time to do the difficult tasks that are associated with my job. And the stuff that takes a lot of mental lifting. And then I take a break, but I really don't take a break. 6:30 to 8:30, no breaks. And you just keep going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the only break that I take is just like changing of the activity. So from 6:30 to 7:30 is that meditative practice. Excuse me, from 6:30 to 7 is meditative practice, 30 minutes. And then from 7 to 8:30 is high frequency activity. So it's like heavy lifting. And I organize my day like, so lunch is important. Eating is important. Right now we don't have it.
Yes.
But lunch always is really important for me to just have my social connection and to have a break. I would usually at around 8:30 I'll take a break at that time, just like walk around, maybe get I don't really drink coffee, but I get a pink drink from Starbucks, which is I know I don't drink coffee, but I drink the pink drink, which just have caffeine in it. But like I like fake coffee, like more milk, less caffeine, please. Caffeine makes me jittery. Can't you tell? I'm already a little bit. So just
I
like
could
to
tell
bring
a
it
little
down.
bit, but I thought you'd had a couple of cups this morning.
bring it down a notch. No, I don't drink coffee.
No, don't.
Me and my brother, we get so weird when we drink coffee. But anyways, I'll have a pink drink during that time, and then I'll have to restart, at 8:45. I don't give myself more than 15 minutes of downtime there, and then at 8:45. I have another from 8:45 to 9:45. I do one low frequency activity, and usually with low frequency activities, I can do, I can actually knock out 2 or 3 of them. And those are things that are like kind of mindless tasks, but they're important. Like for example, an example of that would be like I have to make sure that all my bills are up to date, right? Like just to make sure that everything is up to date on the bills, so that, and I don't, some people are on automatic bill pay. I'm actually not on automatic bill pay for everything, only certain things. And so I like to be aware, because I want to make sure that I'm budgeting correctly for my items. And so I don't just like, oh yeah, I'll just put that automatic credit card payment. Like, no, what did you put on your credit card? Yasmin, exactly. So I give myself some time to do that. But also, some other low frequency activity would be like, to check if there's if any sales going on, for example, on items that I really care about, for example, in the grocery store, or in the online space or things like that. And then also to, call my mom. That's not high frequency activity. It's kind of like low frequency activity. It's calming. I don't have to get stressed out about it. It's not like that for everybody,
nice.
But I try to do that every single day during the time where it would make sense, in my day. For some people, they're like, I don't want to talk to my mom. I'm good. But I love talking to her. She's my best friend. She's my best friend. She actually calms me down. I talk to my mom probably twice a day. Once in the morning during low frequency time, and then once because I'm obsessed with her. Hi.
A little bit.
No,
A little bit. I
That's
like
so
it.
nice. I hope my daughter
But
does
here we
that.
love mom, so it's okay.
Thanks. I'm her best friend. Great. Thank you. She's mine. Yesterday I called her 4 times. It was my anniversary, and my husband was out all day. My husband was. I video called my mom, and she's like,
happy anniversary.
"Okay, we're gonna talk again. We're gonna do it again. Okay, we do it one more time. No problem. What are we gonna talk about? I don't have anything more to share. I will show you my dishes.
I know.
I don't know what else you want from me, but
What
I
I
feel
cook
like
for
I'm
the
your safety
food.
blanket. I'm like a safety blanket. I'm like, you are. That's exactly what you are."
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband was out all
But
day.
that's such a
because he
blessing.
It is. And I almost, if my mom was like makeup, I'd wear her every day. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, if I could aerosol my mother, I would just
That's a
like
meat.
like spray her just in my neck.
Ode. Ode
Aww.
Umi. Yeah.
So I just
That's awesome. I
me.
love
I
it.
just wanna savor every moment with her. So I do usually call her twice a day. I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm a grown woman who's codependent. Anyways, no, it's a healthy codependency. It's a healthy one.
Yes.
But anyway, so I was just gonna say that after that time, at around 9:45, I then switch gears. 9:45, I try to do a high frequency activity between 9:45 and 11, and 11 is usually my lunchtime because my day starts so early. And then I'll have 11 to 12, probably until 12:30 to sort of like get back on track to do the work stuff that I need to get done. And that includes taking my meetings. Sometimes I have morning meetings at that time. Sometimes, usually we have morning meetings during that time actually with my team. So that's like high frequency activity. It takes heavy lifting. I was just going to say that it also has helped because it's helped a lot actually during quarantine. So for a couple things, my day starts at 6:30 and it ends at 3 p.m. But I kind of live far away from where I work, so I commute, and so it takes almost an hour to get home. But I wanted to maximize the amount of daytime that I had with my children because I like to take a walk with them or be outside with them every single day if we can. Even if it's raining, we just like go into the garage and we open the garage door and we watch the rain fall and we talk. And they can play sometimes with their tricycles or whatever, and sometimes they touch the rain and it's cute. But I try my best to do that because I want to have a connection to being outside. We have a garden. I want them to understand their connection to the earth and what they do. And so I usually try to do that on a daily basis when we had work in office work. Now that we're at home, it's been a lot more difficult because I don't have, we don't have childcare because so many places are closed, and I'm still working full time. So that's been a big part of the time boxing has been taking the kids like ping pong hour by hour with my husband, hour by hour, hour by hour.
Oh.
And then every day we take our walk at the same time so that dinner prep is done at the same time. And I always do dinner prep also a little bit at night. And then I do the final touches the day of. So for example, if I'm marinating something, or defrosting something, because I don't use microwaves, I don't use any microwaves.
Oh, you're
Yeah, I
one of
agree.
those.
Yes, I don't even have a, I don't like,
Convection
I
only.
built my house with, yeah, I built my house with no microwave. Because I was just like, I'm good with the genetic changes already, modifying our foods. Because I'm crazy. It's because I'm a little bit crazy. So I have to defrost and stuff like the night before, but it actually helps me because it keeps me accountable. And then if I'm doing this, then I get an hour to myself at night. If I'm doing this
Ooh,
correctly.
How does
that
that
And so
is
it's
work?
like a
key,
big
girl.
reward. It's a big reward to have an hour by
Oh,
myself.
yes.
And then I actually shoot my videos and stuff while my kids are sleeping, usually for my lunch hour while my kids are napping. And I'm like, okay, makeup is for
Oh, they're
15
still in the
minutes.
nap
You
phase.
cannot
I was trying to
exceed,
figure that
you
out.
know, yeah, they're still napping. Yeah,
How,
girl. I
how
got a
old are
1 year
they?
old and a 3 year old. They better be napping. What? Trying to act like adults
I
going off to
They better be
college?
because I
napping.
Sit down.
because
Sit down,
the
calm
one
down.
the one question I
Quran
had was
time. Sleepy
and
time.
listen,
What's up?
you're like, do
What's
not
up, Zabe?
come out of this room. No, because that was the one question I did
Yeah.
have because you do have, like you're saying, the 6:30 to 8:30 is your high frequency, but
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
harder, I think, when you do have kids in school, right? Because that's the time you're trying to get those
Yes.
suckers out the door in a
To
non-corona
to
world,
school.
right? And unfortunately, I have
So true.
to school. So like I have that weird, I have a high schooler, a middle schooler, and two in elementary school, and they're staggered. They're
Yeah,
say
it's hard.
starting at 6:30 to 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So it's really hard because I'm constantly disruptive. Obviously, I actually kind of
Yes.
like it right now because we can really set our schedule. It's so much
So true.
easier. But like for the parents specifically out there in doing the time blocking, you would adjust your morning routine to accommodate the
Yes.
getting the kids out of school. So that's how you would add that to
Yes.
your time block, correct?
That's right. And it's
Got
and,
it.
and I
Okay. So I
think
just
like
wanted to
delivering the
clarify for
kids
the
to
people with the school age kids.
yeah, and delivering the kids to school is also high frequency because it like it's anxiety usually driven. So I want to explain to
Yes.
you that my when I was speaking with my therapist, like high frequency means like you have to be present and it's stressful. Like it
Yes. And
requires focus
focus.
and a little bit of
Yeah, it
stress.
is very
Low
stressful.
low frequency, so that would still fit within the 6:30 to 8:30 high frequency activity. It's just that low frequency is like low stress, still important to do, but calming. It's a calming
Hmm.
activity, or it's an activity that doesn't
Hmm.
require all of you to be 100% present. You can actually listen to music, soft music in the background, whatever. Kind of like the intro music that you guys had. Sounded like I was going to a spa.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, I
Loved it.
know.
Or
I was
standing in
like,
an elevator.
yes. I was like, yeah, I'll have a Swedish massage in room 2. I'm ready. Anyway, so I was just gonna say that my husband helps me a lot too because I have kids that go to Montessori. Well, I have my 3 year old that goes to Montessori, and then my husband usually is the one who does drop off with that, and then the little guy. And my husband is a very big partner of mine in every way in my life, and is extremely supportive. So that's the only reason also we're surviving COVID-19 because we're ping ponging, like I said. I know for some people, especially the single
Hmm.
parents, oh my God, I love you and I'm sorry and I want to
Yeah.
give you a medal and a reward
Yes.
and like you deserve a
And a
treasure,
crown.
like a treasure chest. Oh my God, and a crown, and you get a PS4, you get a 55-inch screen TV. I don't know, you get anything you want.
And a
A
massage.
brand new Yeah, and a brand new Volkswagen Passat. Like you deserve everything you ever wanted because it's just so hard. But it's cool to be Muslim because we believe that all the things don't go away. They get banked. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of you, man, and that you'll be
Yeah,
Yeah.
rewarded
absolutely.
in a different place, and hopefully in the health of your children, and in the productivity of your children, and in your children not, humiliating your, you know, throwing their, privilege in your face.
Yeah, yeah. That will happen. Just hang tight.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
I'm
I have a
so
quick
I'm
question.
so
not to be the bearer
excited.
of bad news.
Yeah.
They're
Yes,
like,
but
your
it's
your
coming,
kids
right?
are coming to get you. Don't
So
don't 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 forget about it. No,
yeah.
great.
So what I'm interested in knowing is during this crazy time when, like I'm on the live stream right now, I'm having to send text messages for the kids to get the hell off the internet because they're slowing down my speed and making
Yeah.
it really laggy.
Oh yeah,
Um, how do we
yeah.
time box with all
I'm
of
so
these like
I'm so sick of
crazy
my
Zoom
1-year-old and
classes? 'Cause-
3-year-old killing my Wi-Fi. Sorry,
yeah, that's basically what's happening, right?
I'm
So
so
they're
sorry.
killing our
I'm so
Wi-Fi.
sorry.
They're a lot of times I have to chase down my headphones because they have my headphones because they're using them to, talk to their
Mhm.
friends and stuff. Um, then there's the whole education aspect, the socialization aspect. At the same time, they're supposed to be hitting some goals. Like we want them to be a little bit more productive in Ramadan too. How do we time box that, or do we help the kids time box? Have you seen that happen, or have you learned any of that um, in your journey of
Yeah,
time
so a
boxing?
couple things. Yeah, a couple things. I have some really productive parents WhatsApp groups, and I have one particular WhatsApp group from my crew that I had at in LA, who I love when I was out there at UCLA Law School, and they're all parents now, and they talk about. Basically doing a lot of the heavy lifting with activities by recording themselves either reading a book or doing an activity that we can then share, and that has been a really nice way. If you have 1 hour, just 1 hour that's blocked off, let's say for activities, it can be activities that are kind of communal in that way. They are activities that maybe your friends' children are doing or they're putting on, or as a family they're putting on, and that's been great for us too, because while we're recording that we can now share that, and so it's a nice family reminder, but it's all Ramadan themed, so it's kind of cool. It's like, so I read Curious George, and
Mhm.
they read, whatever, I guess Ilias and the Duck, and other things that basically promote good, positive identity. And also that tells a story. So we also have prophet stories and things like that. So a part of my 1 hour, I usually will time box into 1 hour for crafts during the day. And during that craft
Mm.
time is what we're cutting into. Maybe we could do a craft for half an hour, and then for the other half hour, we can do a spiritual activity. But the thing is with the spiritual things is that if it feels too regimented, sometimes your children will push back. So I think it's really important with the spiritual
Yes.
Absolutely.
side to really pepper it in with the everyday things that you guys deal with. So for example, if you have an everyday challenge where, say, your boss is upset at you and you're angry, obviously sometimes the easy thing is just to be angry, but I actually do really try to change those into learning moments. So like, say I'm really angry, and then I think, okay, my kids are going to see me this way, how can I explain to them a better way? So I will tell them, like, look, mommy's not in a good mood. You know what she's going to do? She's going to make wudu, because wudu will help her, the water will help cool her emotions right now, and so you can try to talk about it. And the most important thing is that we use our words. Mommy's trying to tell you about how she feels, and that's what's important. And that she's trying to do something about it, and that it's okay to be vulnerable with each other. Or if we're outside on our walk and we see something beautiful, that's where you really have to reiterate to your children that there's so many things to be grateful for, and that God created all those things. Like sometimes my kids, they'll see the rain and they'll be upset about the rain, like, why is there rain? And I'm like, without rain the things would not grow, and like rain is such a blessing, and when it's raining the heavens are open and you get muddy puddles, and so then they see the silver lining,
Yes.
um, you know, in those
Yeah.
things. So
Peppa
we have to
Pig.
we have to pepper those in. We have to pepper those in, and but we can't do that if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so in your 1 hour that you're trying to take
Yes.
care of yourself every day, especially for me, I actually spend that in some spiritual activity, and I try to give myself at least 30 minutes of spiritual activity every day. So if it's 30 minutes of meditation in the morning, if it's 1 hour at night, and I've missed maybe my morning meditation, I'll try to do it at night. If I usually, Quran has been really great because of Ramadan, and so I'm trying to carry more of those habits into my time after Ramadan. But that's been so important, because if you feel recharged and you feel nourished, then you can do so many beautiful things for the people around you. But if you feel depleted, or if you don't have any knowledge about the Prophet's life, so like my husband right now is going through the Revelation book, which is such a good book by Dr. Muhyiddin.
It's a great book.
Uh,
Yeah.
and he's doing that book, and he's doing like the audio lessons. He's read the book before, but he's doing the audio lessons, and he's teaching it to his nieces and nephews. And that has been a really great way for him. He does that an hour every other day, and that has been a really great way for him to really like inculcate and absorb the teachings, and to really know what's going on, because they say when you teach it, then you know it. Then you can really solidify your knowledge. And so on the off days that he's not teaching, he's watching that as a part of his me time. And when he's doing his me time, I really got to take the kids, and I got to skedaddle. I got to keep them busy.
Yeah.
And so it takes a tremendous amount of
So
partnership.
yes, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a really good routine. But my question to you is, what if something happens that is outside of your routine? Like an uncontrollable circumstance. This child is sick.
Like
something happens.
COVID-19?
A work deadline gets pushed. COVID-19.
A little
Yes,
something,
exactly.
like
So
coronavirus.
what do us because, I mean,
my
you sound
husband is gone all day yesterday. He's gone all day yesterday. It was my
Yes,
anniversary.
exactly.
We
Your
already planned
anniversary.
about what we're gonna do.
Yes. Yeah, so how do you handle that? Or
So you have
how
to time
does
box an
somebody,
hour
how do
to
you
fight.
allow yourself the opportunity to fight that? Yeah, like how do you do that on a day-to-day basis? Because I'm really curious about that.
So the big thing for me is practicing self-compassion. So, when there is something that's out of my control, it's a lot different than if I've thwarted my schedule just because
Yes.
I want to be on Instagram. You get what I'm saying? When there's a force de
Right.
jure, as we say in the
Yes.
law, which is an act of God, or something that's, basically the idea behind that is it's something that you cannot control. You have to practice self-compassion. And I really believe that a positive spiritual practice helps you get there. A meditative practice helps you get there. To say, it's okay, today I didn't meet the mark, or things happen, and I'm actually not in control. And that's very important for someone like myself who loves control. Time boxing is all about control.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm an extremely controlling person. But a big part of the everyday beautiful journey, and it is a struggle, but it's a journey of being Muslim, is relinquishing that control and practicing a self-compassion that is based on the fact that God has created human beings in the most perfect way, and yet we are flawed, and yet we have imperfections, and we're working on them, and we're working on the submission to God, but the acceptance of God's beauty and mercy in our life, and the lessons that he's teaching us. So when there's something terrible going on, which it happens, it's okay to cry about it. It's okay to mess up your schedule. It's okay as long as you can talk through it. And, I always tell that to my kids, and I'm hoping that they, Daniel, Daniel Tiger, from the PBS show. I love that show.
I love Daniel Tiger.
I love that show. It's therapy for me.
Good.
It's so good, and it's great.
So
it's
good.
carrying Mr. Rogers' philosophy, and I think it's like prophetic to say, talk it out. How do you, when something's bad, turn it into something good? They have a song that they sing, and so, when there's something terrible, I'm not saying I think of Daniel Tiger, but I might be thinking of Daniel Tiger a little bit. And I think, how can we see the good in this, and how can we see that this disruption in our schedule is just an example of God's his ability to enter our lives and teach us a lesson, and for us to grow from that. So I was going to say that a part of self-compassion too is like yesterday I was like done. Like my husband did not walk in by 6 p.m. He was gone from 8:45 iftar the night before on Saturday night. And I was with the kids all night. That includes my son waking up I had one that woke up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. I had another one that woke up twice because he was hungry, needed milk. And then woke up a third time for a diaper change. And so I was, I was by myself. They want to cuddle with me when their dad's gone because they're just like, if there's a disruption. So we have to go with the flow. We have to be flexible when these are disruptions that happen in our life. But at 6 p.m. yesterday, I lost it. And I was like, you know what? Now
Yes.
I need to go into another room. And I just need to make sure that my kids are safe in the sense that they're in a space that's safe. And I need to leave. And I'm going to turn on the TV and they're going to watch something because I need to walk away.
Yes,
okay? And I
girl.
need a babysitter.
Yes.
Call the television and it's Sammy Yusuf or it's Yusuf Islam or it's Hannah
Yes.
and Omar. It's something productive. And I'm
Yes.
going to walk the hell away, And mommy needs a break, half an hour. And I even went to 6:45 and my husband walked in at like 7:15. And there were tears. There were tears in my eyes. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay too. So, it was like just too many timeouts that day. I had put my kid in timeout, so I need to put myself in timeout. So anyways, I just say this, like, being productive has to come with a purpose. Being productive, the purpose is supposed to increase your tranquility. It's supposed to increase your ability to feel not so out of control, but to feel like you can control what you can control. The point of time boxing isn't to run the world, and to run it the way that you want to run it.
Right.
That's not the point. And if you're feeling more anxiety doing it, then hey, mommies, take everything I just said and put it in the garbage can and do what makes you feel calm, because that calm is the only thing that your children are gonna, I think, like really like be drawn to. I think children get really scared when I'm stressed out. My kids are like, we gotta get away from mommy. Or my son will just straight up, because we're practicing this communication. He'll be like, mommy, why is your voice loud? Or like, mommy, why are you seem kind of sad. What's that about? And I'm like, oh, you saw that? Wow. So, and I was reading this book with my son. So, we have a reading time and it fluctuates too. Like I will say about the time boxing too, you guys, is sometimes we do a swap of times. So for example, like you were supposed to do something, let's say between 1 and 2, it didn't happen. You should have a time that you could do a time swap where you could do maybe something from like 5 to 6. So if it didn't happen from 1 to 2, give yourself space to do it from 5 to 6. And so I didn't get his reading done between 1 and 2 because he really needed to nap. He usually naps, at 12, and he'd be up by like 1:30 so that we could do our reading when he wakes up. But that didn't happen. He was delayed in his nap. And so I did a time swap. So I changed the time that I would usually do reading with him for later in the day. And I was reading this book with him. I want to say it's called Grandpa Bear. That's what it's called. Oh my God. Grandpa Bear
Did you cry?
is this book about a grandpa bear who has dementia and who's losing his memory. I started crying like a baby during reading this book, and my son's his reaction was just so beautiful. So my littlest, my 1-year-old was just laughing like, "Mommy, there's water coming out of mommy's eyes." That's hilarious. But my 3-year-old took his shirt and was like, "Mommy, are you?"
Habibi.
I feel like you're sad, but I don't know why. The book. We don't have to read this book. We can read another book. But anyways, your kids feel you. They feel your emotional tenor. So that's what I want to tell to moms. That's what I want to tell to moms. Time boxing, I think, is for some is mostly for type A crazy moms like myself who are like, we have to achieve or we're not. Yeah. But it's not for everybody, and it doesn't have to be for everybody. And you can have more lax schedules, or you can have big blocks of time to do things. They don't have to be so tight. That's the biggest thing I want to say is use trial and error. But if it's something that is my fault because I was screwing around, I was in the bathroom for too long because I was watching cat videos, which happens a lot. I'm gonna just be real with you. Then there's a punishment. Say I wanted that Little Debbie snack. I'm not getting a fudge round tonight because I screwed around in the bathroom and was watching cat videos.
I love that you love fudge rounds. Those were my favorite snack growing up too.
Girl, Little Debbie just straight up, Little Debbie Corporation
Little
just straight
Debbie.
up answered me on the DMs. On my DMs. They were like, what's
Whoa!
sahur? And I would give them
Big
that
name.
dawa. I give them that dawa. I was like, let me tell you what sahur is. Let me tell you about this pre-dawn meal. Let me tell you how this is replacing my date. It didn't replace it. I had dates. I had the sunnah, and I had also the new fudge round. It's not a sunnah. It's not a sunnah. It's just my silliness. But I ate it, and so they said this.
Is the
They
fudge
made
round
like
the
a really
same?
nice comment. Yes. Yes, the
They have
same one
not
from my
changed the
childhood.
recipe?
It
Oh
has
my
not
God.
changed.
I'll have to
It's
buy
still
some.
cocaine. Still cocaine.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So, anyways,
I love it.
I
And I love
reposted
that you talked
on my
about Little
Instagram
Debbie.
stories. Yeah, that's the only way I'm getting through
That's
things,
awesome.
people.
Fudge rounds. I get it.
But
Little
anyways,
Debbie.
Also,
I
for
was just
time
gonna,
boxing,
I was just. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
is there a particular app you recommend?
I don't use apps, you guys, because when I was studying for the bar, we actually did it on paper. And so you could just do it on an Excel sheet,
Oh, okay.
or you can do it on a piece of paper. So that's what I've always done. I'm old. Hi, I'm old. So when I was in middle school too, like
Yeah.
we had our calendars, our planners. I'm not one of these moms that has an amazing planner. My sister-in-law is my brother's wife, and she bought me this very expensive planner, and I to this day love her for it. Haven't used I haven't maybe used it. But I have my Sharpies that have the
Oh.
color. I color code using Sharpies. And I have my
Uh-huh.
own. It's just like a piece of paper for the day, kind of like a to-do list. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be fancy. I don't
That's
know, but you know
simple.
what, you guys, check the apps and see. The only thing I use my phone for is my calendar. So, in the sense that if I know I'm doing something, today, and then I'll get like a little reminder because I'm not good at always remembering. So like I had a notification for today for this thing. Like
Yes.
don't forget.
Oh, thank goodness.
See, that's a great
You
thing.
guys, you
You're like,
you
oh
added it into
no,
my
gotta get
calendar.
on here.
So yeah, I know maybe I'm
I
terrible
did,
because I'm
sorry.
in the Stone Age, but I just think like again, moms like I think apps would probably work fantastic. I don't know if you use a time boxing or time blocking app. Zeba, do you use one?
So I use an app. I'm obsessed with Cozy. So Cozy Calendar is what I use, and it's the same
Oh, it's
thing.
really cute.
It's each kid is coded. So every kid gets to pick a color. And now that my older two have cell phones, it actually alerts them. So now they're in
Right.
charge of being able to put in their calendar items because we're trying to get them to be more independent and time focused because the reality of the situation, you don't necessarily have to be a type A personality, but life is such that you're going to have expectations, right? And so part of this
So
time
true.
management strategy is something that all kids at some point need to be taught. And right now, because of
Yeah.
this COVID-19, I do have to say my older two are being kind of thrust into this a little bit more forcefully because of
Yes.
distance learning. They're kind of having to manage a
Yes.
lot of this stuff on their own, and I just can't do it for them. Like I'm just at that stage right now where I'm like, you suckers have to figure this out on your
Right.
own. This I will help you set it up if you want me to come and sit with you once a week to like help you do that. But I can't every day. They were waking up and saying, "What do I have to do today?" And I was like,
Yeah.
I cannot do this for four people under me, plus
Yeah.
having to do my own things, plus having to, so I do have to say, regardless of whether you're type A or like myself, I'm more of a B plus is what I like to say, but I do have anxiety. So I always say the time the time scheduling allows me to feel on a weekly basis that, to your point, Yasmin, that I'm in control. And so the app
Yeah.
that I specifically use is Cozy, only because it does allow the kids to put in their schedule, and obviously Google Calendar for work stuff, but my personal stuff. And honestly, even right now with the COVID, I still have all of my things scheduled. And I know that's crazy because you don't have anything, but I still put things down, like there's study time. And right now, like this time I have
Yes.
is my
That's not
work time. And then
crazy.
I have to
That's
do
not
my,
crazy.
and
That's exactly
yeah,
what you
but
should
I
be
do think
doing.
Yeah.
some people are like, why are you doing this right now? And when you don't have any quote unquote time constraints, but for me, it helps, to your point, feel
Organize your
more in control.
day.
And I'm less, yeah, it helps me organize my day a lot better. And I'm still doing it during this time. Even if it's like, I'm going to read my book for an hour because I have book club next week and I have to finish this, but
Exactly.
things like that,
Exactly.
I add into my calendar right now.
I'm with you, girl. I like the B plus. I like that you're a B plus.
Yeah, I'm a B plus. I
I'm
always
cool with
say
that.
Yeah, she's
I'm
not
a
a B
B
plus. She's
plus
an A
because
minus.
certain things,
She's at least an A
I'm an A
minus.
minus, okay? Like, yeah, because the certain
Yeah.
things I care about, other things I do not. Oh, but that having been said,
Maybe
like
not.
Yasmin, like
Yeah.
where can people find you? First of all,
Yeah.
what are you guys having for iftar today? Because I definitely need some
Great.
ideas. Every day I'm trying to come up with
Okay,
something
great
new.
question.
That's
So I have
what
been
my last
defrosting my chicken from
yes.
last night. Okay, I made my ground beef last night for my fillings because I'm making
Okay.
these sambosak, which is Afghan. Um, but it's like a samosa, but it's a lot less spicy and it's with ground beef. So I made that yesterday, and I also knew that it was going to be good because I could also double it up, like to mix it with pasta for the kids for lunch. But
Mm-hmm.
I defrosted my chicken and I put it in like a yogurt and like chicken tikka spice, and then I'm having the rice
Mm.
soak from the morning time, and I'm gonna be making dill rice, which is also another Afghan and
Ooh.
Iranian thing. It's called shibiti, brin shibiti, which means shibit is dill in Afghan. I'm Arab. I'm Arab, you guys, but I'm just cooking a bunch of Afghan food because I married one, and that's cool
You married
too.
one. Yeah.
That's cool too. But I'm doing dill rice. So with this like chicken tikka, which is actually very Pakistani, very desi. But I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
use all
Mm-hmm.
this. I try to do it without the actual like spice, the mirch part, because my
Mm-hmm.
Afghan husband cannot deal, and also the kids. They're just like it's spicy over anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you guys
Exactly.
are weak. You guys are acting like babies.
Mine do it with peanut butter, so don't worry.
And then I made lentil
Oh
soup. I
my
just want
God.
you to know I made lentil soup on Friday,
Yes.
and that will last me from Friday to about Thursday. So I make a batch of lentil soup, and I have all my
Mm-hmm.
vegetables in there. So yeah, I mean, I also like I do a lot of meal prep to try to be less exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll do like So I did the lentil soup
Yes.
on Friday. Then I did, then I did the ground beef or whatever on Sunday, so that every day I'll have something that carries on to the next day until
Something.
we're done.
Something new can roll out. That's awesome. I totally believe in that,
Yeah,
especially now
yeah.
that I have to
Thank you.
cook this month.
You're the best. You're the best. But I like try to squeeze. I try to squeeze every like drop out of every day, and so for to kind of to your point, Zeba too. Like if you're a B plus, B minus, even if you're a C, okay, you want to make sure that you're not going through
Yes.
life like Netflix and chilling. That bothers me.
Yes.
It's okay to
Yes.
Netflix
Well,
and
if you have
chill.
kids, it's just not sustainable. Yeah.
No, it's not because your kids are like, "Why are we watching Netflix again, mom?" Yeah. So, anyways, yeah,
They
we
don't
have to.
want to. I mean, that's the underrated thing is the kids, especially mine, and I think it's because we're admittedly, like you're in the DMV area, we're a very overscheduled, high energy,
Yeah.
super focused
Yes.
on every day, minute of the day. I mean, it is very frenzied here. So this has been a little bit of a break for us, to be honest with you, because normally it's like two are in baseball, three are doing basketball, then we're adding this lacrosse, then we're adding this. So this has been a nice break. But when you have and you're raised like that, where every
Yes.
minute of your day is scheduled, they need some semblance of schedule in order to not have that anxiety. So we're kind of the opposite. So
Yeah.
my kids are like, they like to do things. And so I try to keep them
Right.
productive till like 4. And then after that, I'm like, you guys can do whatever you want at that point,
Free time.
and the
I love
teens
that, Mom.
are
That's
sleeping
great.
until if they're, like, I'm not going to lie. They're like,
Yes.
they go to sleep right after class and then they sleep. I wake them up an hour before, and that's okay, cause I'm like, they were productive until that point. But I
Yes.
do think even
Yes.
children benefit from the schedule because it allows you the opportunity to your point, fit in those things that you normally wouldn't be able to fit in because you're constantly trying to like put out fires. So like I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in scheduling for that reason.
I'm with you, and then you won't be able to actually take care of yourself. And so when you can't take care of yourself, you'll just be like a candle that's burning for everybody else until you're burnt out.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's a good way to.
This was really
that's a
fun,
good way to
Yaz.
end
I really
this.
appreciate all of this. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
Don't burn out, everybody. And Yaz,
I heart you guys.
Aw, you're so sweet. Tell us where our audience can find you.
You can find me at YazGuru on my Instagram page. YASGURU. YASGURU. Don't put a Z in there. Don't do it.
GURU.
Z's at the end of the alphabet. We ain't at the end of the alphabet.
I did, and I had trouble finding you first.
Yeah, stop with the Z. Stop with that crap, Uzma, with a Z. That bias.
Well, Zeba and I both have
Zeba with a Z, and my entire family has a Z.
Holy crap! Holy crap! I take it back. All the Z.
She loves the Z.
Garbage trash talking.
She's got 4 kids.
All my
trash
family
talking
are
on Z's.
Yeah.
I know. Z is the best letter. I don't know what you're talking about, lady.
My son is Zane, so okay, back it up. I just don't like the fact that people can't ever find me because they want to put YAZGURU. It's YASGURU on Instagram. Please follow me if you want to, be cool. I don't know. If you want to like have a laugh
and wet your
pants and at my expense, and also I during Ramadan I'm doing my favorite. This is my son trying to crash this session. Can you just say right there?
Come on in.
Off social
media. We're all mamas here.
I love you. I love you, baby.
I want to sit right here.
You want to sit in my lap? Can you sit in my lap in just a second? In just a second. Yeah, baby. Okay. And he's
Mom, just
almost
let him sit.
They keep him off.
Thank you, Mama.
Oh, she doesn't want him on social media.
I don't want him on social media.
Oh, I see.
Because I'm crazy. Remember? No microwave mom. That's me.
Oh, no.
You can find me at no microwave mom at youtube.com. No, I'm just joking. You can find me at YazGuru, and I'm doing my favorite verse from every juzah because I'm trying to encourage people to know that they can fit in that into their life, inshallah, because it's always been a struggle for me, and so it keeps me accountable too. And,
love that.
Yeah. And I do relationship advice on Merry Mondays. Basically, every other Monday I do a relationship blog, and you can see them in my story highlights. #Merry Mondays. Tips like how to survive being married in COVID-19. And I talk a little bit about timeboxing there and other stuff.
Yeah.
So, document the Insta. I will not remember that. Okay, got it. YASGURU.
We will. We'll put it down.
By the way, somebody else had commented. Grandpa Bear is the saddest book in the world. And you know what? It is. No one read it. Don't buy that book.
Velveteen Rabbit.
It's just
Velveteen Rabbit.
All it is a puddle of sadness and beauty. God, I don't even know.
Take that off your take that off your read list.
Yeah, don't read The Giving Tree either. Just burn it. Burn that book.
Oh, that's the worst. That makes me cry.
Why?
So we're gonna have to have
stuff.
So you touched upon it really quickly. I love you forever. Oh, we used to sing the song. I love you forever. As long as my baby, you'll be like. We would sing that all the time. And by the way, I am that creeper mom that literally do look at my kids when they're sleeping, and I look at them and I stare at them. Everybody knows.
I have so many photos of this. I document their sleep.
Of them sleeping. I do the same.
Someone's going to arrest me. Like, there will be a restraining order against me for the number of photographs
from your
daughter
I've taken.
I have when they're so cute and peaceful when they're sleeping. Oh my gosh. But we touched upon it really quickly about you being being a matchmaker. So we would love to
Yeah.
have you, if you're open and amenable, to bring you on the show, because honestly, I would love to bring you on the show to help matchmake some single mamas, because I know that that is like an area of our population that really we do not talk about as much, and we will have to talk about
Yeah.
that offline.
Yeah.
So hashtag YASGURU on Instagram,
Yeah.
and
Not
Married
hashtag,
Mondays.
just
Girls, I'm
at.
going to start
Just
following
at.
you.
At.
At,
So it's at
see, I don't do Instagram, so I have just like
YASGURU.
have
It's
no
okay.
clue.
It's at
You are you.
YASGURU, and the hashtag
I don't know
is
hashtags.
hashtag
The
MARRY
hashtag
Mary Monday. MONDAY.
Married
I like the
Mondays.
hashtag gang sign that you put up there, Zeba. That's
Yes.
adorable.
Chicago. There we
It's
go.
like this.
Chicago
The
boo.
ad sign.
Chicago
The ad
boo.
sign.
And then I was just gonna just
Sh-
say
it's
to you
it's a
guys that
Chicago.
I actually retired from matchmaking, but I mentored other matchmakers to try to
Oh.
help them. Yes, I retired.
That's
to do
actually
the
good to
comedy
know.
because I can't do all the things. My time
Do it
boxing
all.
was
You
splitting.
can't
The
at
do all
time
the
boxing
things.
can let you do all the things.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
No, but you know, if you
I
want
see.
if you
So
want me
if
on the
you're ever
show for
gonna do
another
anything-
reason, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to do that. And honestly, we'll post. Do you have
Yeah.
any upcoming gigs online that you're going to be doing
Yeah.
that we'll post on
Dope.
our page? Anything
Thanks.
coming
Yeah,
up
I'm-
recently that you would like people to talk about?
Yes, so I have some things coming up. I have Penny Appeal is doing this like fantastic round of dinners and galas is what they're called, because they were supposed to be dinners, but they're obviously we're not. No one's eating right now together in
Yeah.
large groups, or that would be bad. But it's called Heal Humanity. So Heal Humanity is where's my camera? There it is.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
There it is.
I love it because it's a
Love
it's a
that.
lag. I'm so silly. Meow.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get this right. It doesn't even matter. May 2nd, May 3rd, May 9th, May 10th. You can catch me in a virtual iftar.
Perfect.
Online.
Okay. For Penny Appeal USA,
Wonderful.
the same
We'll look
organization
out for your act.
that you guys are raising money for. I also have a Ramadan
Yes, for
challenge.
Launch Good.
I'm not gonna talk about it here, but you know what I'm saying. We love Launch Good. But I was I'm actually a founding board member and former chairwoman of Penny Appeal USA.
Love that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So
Mashallah.
we're gonna look forward to getting the links from you so we can put them on our show notes, and inshallah everybody can follow up and get all this information that they need. Thanks again so much. Yaz, we love you. This was
Be
so
well,
much fun. I
everybody.
don't
Thank you
think I've
so
laughed this
much.
hard
Love
during an
your
interview
heart.
in a long time.
I know.
Heart your faces.
Hashtag
Assalamualaikum.
heart.
Heart from a distance. Hashtag
Assalamualaikum.
we're in a
Waalaikumsalam.
gang.
Heart
Hashtag
practice.
love gang. Hashtag MM. We're the MM. Momming while Muslim.
It's
Yeah.
an
What?
MWM.
Momming while
Oh,
Muslim.
MW. Yeah.
MWM.
Yeah. That's true.
We had a
Okay.
we had a gang
MWM.
You got it.
I'm the worst.
All
You did
right.
say
Welcome,
hashtag
everybody.
Yazguru.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Salam.
That's true.
I like this.
Bye, ladies.